Hi, everyone. Jessica, Pamela, Leanne, nice to see you out there. And anyone else who's hopping on, feel free to say hello so that we can connect in this special space together. I changed my angle a little bit in this room so there would be better light. And somehow one of the neighbors has just started up their lawnmower. So hopefully it won't be just too distracting for us. And that brings us to our topic, distractions. Not distractions, that's a whole other topic, actually. Hi, Vicky, welcome. Good to see you out there. So, today's topic is such a big one. Whenever I'm teaching in yoga classes, whenever I'm working with quieting the mind, like restorative yoga or meditation of any kind, people are always saying, oh, I can't calm my mind. I can't stop my mind. It's just overthinking and just thinking and thinking. Or oftentimes I hear from people, when something is going on in their life, which is almost constantly for many people, it's very, very challenging to not stop that whirling, often called the monkey mind, leaping from thought to thought, or the elephant mind, it's also referred to, the wild elephant. So this mind is this entity that we really need to get a handle on in order to be happy, to be peaceful. So freedom from overthinking. Yes. Did that topic grab you today? Does anyone have a really strong, like, raise your hand, anyone have a strong issue with that? Especially lately with all the challenges we're all dealing with. So before I continue, I just wanted to mention for anyone, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notifications for all the cool stuff that we're doing. And as always, we will begin with a few soft belly breaths. We're just going to do 3 to begin, and then we'll do a few more before we do our internal observation. So just sitting up nice and tall, taking a deep breath in, allow yourself to deeply settle in. Just getting a feeling sense for yourself, what it feels like to be you right now. And taking 3 full soft belly breaths. So what I mean by that is just a deep inhalation with the intention of focusing your energy on your navel. So on the inhalation, full expansion right up to the top of the breath. Your exhale could be through the mouth or through the nose, whichever feels better for you. And as you exhale, just think about letting go, softness, letting go of tension, and relaxing your mind and relaxing your body so that you can be fully present here. Inhaling to the top and exhaling to the bottom. Letting go. Let's take 1 or 2 more. Inhaling and exhaling. 1 more. What the heck? Inhaling and exhaling. Good. Okay, so I'm going to bring our palms together at heart center. If that feels good for you, taking a moment to set your personal intention for your time here. Now, your intention most likely has something to do with the topic, but it may not. It may be something different. Choosing something that's important for you right now. And holding that intention in your heart, take another deep, full, soft belly breath. Good. And relaxing into this moment fully and completely. see if you can get a sense for the others who are along here with us now and anytime in the future, holding on to that connectedness, that togetherness, and sense of family. So, freedom from overthinking. How many of us have been in a state where we are stressed, our mind is overthinking things, and we say to ourselves, when this is all over with, I will finally start living my life. I will finally be peaceful. When this is over, when this is over, once this is over with. So, how many times do we say that to ourselves? Quite often, I'm sure. The truth is, the roadblocks and the challenges that we face will never stop. They're going to continue coming. They're coming into our path. We may find moments of peace, moments of pure joy. There goes my rooster. However, the pressures of life are part of the living experience, right? So no matter what happens, there's always going to be pressures coming from different areas. And you may have pressures at different points in the day. So it's up to us to really take hold, take the reins. Unfortunately, a lot of us humans live with a mind that has taken possession. They have become subservient to the mind, thoughts, and the emotional reactivities. So basically what that means, subservient, we're serving our mind instead of our mind serving us. Many of us, or many of these supposed thoughts that come in, we attach ourselves to, such as my thoughts. I had this thought, so we are accepting it as a part of ourselves. So my thoughts are actually arising from the collective. So a lot of these thoughts that do come into our mind are actually arising from the collective. They are energy fields or energetic entities that we do not have to believe in or listen to. So that's something to really think about, especially in moments where you have certain thoughts that are coming up and you're like, whoa, where did that come from, right? So they are really just energy fields or energetic, something to keep in mind. Them pass like a leaf floating downstream or like a cloud floating through the sky. You can just observe it and let it go. So there's an understanding that we have of ourself, and then there's an understanding of our deeper self. So first there's the understanding of who you are beyond the surface, the material self. So I like to call that the I, me, my, mine, such as our appearance, our personality traits, the things that define us, our status, things that you own, things that you have, your education, and your relationships. So we often hold on to those things as ours, I, me, mine. And then there's your self essence or your higher or your deeper self. So what can you say about this? Really not much, because it's almost impossible to conceptualize this. So what happens when you get into those moments where you're completely calm, centered, focused, and thoughts begin to really slow down? There's not much to say about that other than it just feels like consciousness. It just feels like all, right? Or the all-seeing eye. So we can't find it in a moment of alert stillness, and we don't need to know our name or who we are, our friends or families are, when we're in that state, right? We don't need to know any of these things or our personal history. We don't need to know these things in order to be fully present or to be ourself wholly. So separating yourself from this material being into a spiritual being is very, very potent and powerful in allowing you to really rise above these earthly thoughts that come and go. They're ephemeral. They just come and they go. And these emotions also just come and go. And when we are residing in the space of pure consciousness, such as when we're in meditation, we can also achieve that in from moment to moment in our daily life, where we can understand, deeply understand, that these are just moments and they will pass. So I wanted to tell a little story about, just a brief story about my father, because when I talked about this, about doing this, I was talking to my husband and we were talking about the situation, and I thought of my father because it reminded me of me always wanting to correct him, and versus being in the moment with him. So when you are in the moment, it really allows things to arise. So what happened with my father was he had a stroke, and this was back in 2014, and he had lost a lot of his memory, and he came in and out of himself, kind of thing. So he would have moments of clarity, and would have moments where he was communicating almost in a dream state, um, talking about things that didn't fully make sense, at least not to me. So in that moment, in the beginning, I would often correct him and say, no, no, it's not this, it's this. It's not my sister, it's this other person. And I would always be trying to correct him when he was talking about stories of the past, etc. Sorry about my rooster. I don't know why he's going on and on. He doesn't normally. I think he can hear me talking and he's trying to communicate with me. Anyway, back to my father. So in that situation, I would often try to correct him. But when I stopped and I started just allowing the situation to be whatever it was, allowing him to just be in the moment and share thoughts in the moment without resisting, it allowed him to come into a space of calm centeredness, where a lot of times I would just allow it, because what was happening was we were getting agitated, and that's what happens in our own mind. We were both getting agitated by my trying to correct him. So that happens in your own mind, the agitation. But when you are accepting, for example, you're sitting and you're having all these thoughts and you're having the overthinking mind, instead of saying, oh, here I go again, I'm getting frustrated with this, just saying, okay, there it goes again. There's my thinking mind. Being busy, there it goes. Take a look, observe it, let it go. It's when we hold on to it, we resist it, that the agitation begins, which is what happened with my father in those moments. And in the moments where we were just sitting together and just being together in a space of pure acceptance of whatever was happening, it all shifted and it became almost a spiritual experience. So the transcendent dimension cannot be experienced as an object because it is the eternal I. So that moment where you're in pure consciousness is a transcendent dimension, or the all-seeing I, as I mentioned earlier. So you know yourself as consciousness, and not conscious of something, but just consciousness, right? It doesn't take time or practice to be who you are. It is here right now in this present moment. This is how we escape the overthinking mind. So this doesn't have to be something in the distant future. This can happen right now in this moment where you're sitting. So you can make that choice to be in that state of acceptance. So this is actually how we can escape, if you want to use that word, the overthinking mind, recognizing it and actively deciding to let go of the storm. Where's your mind when you're feeling overwhelmed from an overthinking mind? Where is your mind? Like when you're feeling that overwhelm or overthinking, where is it? Is it in the future or perhaps in the past? It is certainly not in the present moment. It is a state of worry. It is a state of fear. It is a state of regret, right? Rather than a state of being. So the first step is to become aware of your mind patterns. You may notice certain triggers that may cause you to start thinking obsessively. Once you start to become aware of your conditioned behaviors, you can begin to work on reconditioning your mind. So I wanted to share a thought from Indian philosopher Krishnamurti, amazing person. If you haven't heard of him before, definitely look up his work. This is from his talk, Freedom from the Known. If there is an awareness of how thought begins, then there is no need to control thought. We spend a great deal of time and waste a great deal of energy all through our lives, not only at school, trying to control our thoughts, such as, this is a good thought, I must think about it a lot, or this is an ugly thought, I must suppress it. There is a battle going on all the time between one thought and another, one desire and another, one pleasure dominating all other pleasures. But if there is an awareness of the beginning of thought, then there is no contradiction in thought. So I'll just read that last line again because it's key. If there is an awareness of the beginning of thought, then there is no contradiction in thought. So this is what happens when you're conscious of what's going through your mind and you are holding the reins versus your mind taking control. Your mind is like a puppy dog. You love it, you care for it, you're kind to it, but you want to control it from being rowdy. So taking control, taking the reins, and finding that key moment through slowing everything down. And this takes practice, but you can do it right away by making that choice. So slowing everything down to the beginning of the thought as it enters your mind. And as you begin to work on these processes on a regular basis, you start to see it much more clearly. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to have rocky waters sometimes. Of course, you're going to have those rocky waters, but you're going to be able to recognize them faster and sooner. So it'll be a quick observation and a quick shift. Or maybe in the middle of a conversation with somebody where you've been short or terse with them, you might just kind of take a step back and go, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'd like to say it like this instead. So also remembering that it's never too late. It's never too late. It's our ego sometimes that thinks it's too late. So taking that extra breath and taking that extra moment, even if it's only for yourself, where you're listening to negative talk in your mind, you can say, no, I'm sorry to myself. I shouldn't have thought that. I shouldn't have said that. It's not the way it is. It's not the truth. There's kindness and compassion involved in this, and it's super important to hold on to that in your mind as you do this work for yourself. So you perceive the point of entry, and every thought that arises when you're present becomes like a fork in the road. And those of you who've done these classes with me before have heard me say that for sure. So every moment becomes a fork in the road, and you decide that you are the charioteer of the chariot, and you are in control. And through a calm, centered, focused mind, you can maintain that. Okay, I'm going to stop babbling now. And we're going to do a little work on our own and observe our mind. So just taking a moment again to settle in. So we're going to do a few more soft belly breaths. Allow yourself to settle in. Close your eyes. Notice your body. Tune into the weight of the body. Tune into whatever you are feeling. Let's take 3 soft belly breaths. Inhaling to expand. Exhale through the nose or mouth and soften into the moment, fully and completely softening into the moment. Again, inhaling, full expansion. Exhale, soften, let go, soften, let go, soften, let go. One more time. Softening fully into this moment, turning your attention to your inner landscape, your inner world. And as thoughts begin to arise, observe them like a guardian, choosing the right action for each one. So, for each thought as it comes through, become the guardian of that thought. Ask yourself, will that thought be entertained or will it be dismissed? Allowing each thought to pass like a leaf floating downstream, like a cloud floating through the sky. Acknowledge it and let it float away. As you notice your thoughts arising, also notice the spaces between the thoughts. And as you accept the mind exactly as it is with compassion for yourself, notice what happens in this process. Continuing to stay focused inward. Begin to slowly deepen the breath through the nose if possible. Slow inhale right to the top of the breath. We're going to hold for the count of 2 and exhale for the count of 8. Two more just like that. Inhaling through the nose, right up to the top of the breath. Hold for the count of 2. Exhale for the count of 8. And one more time. Inhale to the top of the breath. Hold for the count of 2. And exhale to the count of 8. When you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. So, your thoughts are not reality, they are just thoughts. It's your reaction to those thoughts that are causing perhaps unwanted anxiety. Ask yourself this question when your mind is taken over. Do I have any problems at this moment? Not tomorrow or next week or last week, but right here, right now. Quieting the mind through focused meditation is king, in my view. But some other ways to help include going for a walk in the forest, connecting to the earth, deep breathing, like we were just doing, exercise, so good, positive affirmations, hanging out with animals, with your best friends, reminding yourself that it will pass in time with patience. So, thank you for being here today. And again, for the new peeps out there, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to get your notifications. And would love to hear how that experience was for you. It was just a few minutes, but sometimes you can get a real sense for what's happening in the mind. So I recommend, especially if this is an issue for you, to start with a small amount of time, say 3 to 5 minutes, extend it each day by a minute. So by the end of the week, you're doing a good chunk of time. And maybe you can make your way up to 30 minutes, 45 minutes, up to an hour or more. And through this process, you will find, and beyond a shadow of any doubt, you will see the positive changes in your life. You will see a sense of growth and calm and peace in yourself, and other people will notice it too. So I highly, highly recommend, especially if this is an issue for you, to continue this. And even if you only stick with 3 minutes a day and you say, I'm going to do this 3 minutes a day, you will see positive changes in your life. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots of love. We'll see you next time. And I'm open to suggestions. So if you have any topics you want to cover, please throw them my way, either in an email or a text or however it works for you. And we'll see you next time. Much love.